Ooh, I see it says live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Matt Dunford of Creators Assemble. I'm reporting to you live here from my geeky lair here in San Diego, California, with my tons and tons of comic books behind me. So if you can't tell, here at Creators Assemble, we are very passionate about comic books and comic book materials, but you can't really do that without people who create comic. Very talented creator, Mr. Nguyen. Don, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Matt. How's it going? Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate being asked to be on. It's a great honor.
And I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing to have you here with us today. And so I think it's just absolutely wonderful that you've been here and you've joined us today on this Creators Assemble project. So with this particular project that we recruited a group of talented comic creators to bring together artwork, writing, poetry, and a variety of material in a book that'll be benefiting some local charities here in San Diego, so that are focused toward African-American arts and some local LGBTQ benefits, and you can find it at creatorsassemble.com, at the Creators Assemble website. But we're going to be talking with Don today because you may have seen Don's contribution to our book. In fact, he's wearing it on his shirt right now. Don, can you come full into frame?
Sure. Is that good?
Yes. Don and his BLM Punisher fist, well, Punisher skull fist that has been there. So you may have seen this image circling around the internet in one way or another. I'm just seeing it, popping up all over on Twitter and all over on Facebook from people that don't even know you. It's taken on a life of its own. And so, Don, for our fans here, I was wondering if you could talk about the creation process, how it came to be, and
Okay.
of course, working with the legendary Gerry Conway of taking back the Punisher symbol.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a phenomenal experience. I'm one of those little guys that you sometimes will catch at comic book conventions. For those out there who don't know me, I'm an indie artist, and I just saw this opportunity pop up. Gerry Conway had tweeted out that he wanted to reclaim the Punisher logo. And if you follow Gerry and if you've ever read what he has to say about it, he has very specific, very articulate thoughts about how he feels in terms of law enforcement misusing or misappropriating the Punisher logo. As many of you might know, if you're Punisher fans, the Punisher is a vigilante. And so it should be troubling that people who are meant to uphold the law and be symbols of justice and keeping the peace are co-opting that and using it for their own purposes. And when the opportunity presented itself, I jumped on board and I tagged some friends. I thought we were all going to be a part of it, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, I was selected out of the many to be a part of the campaign, and it was a huge honor. And then how the logo came about was Gerry had very specific requests in terms of the email that he sent out. He asked for a skull image to be used that was reminiscent of the Punisher logo, but not quite the Punisher logo. And then he asked,
don't want to tread on the Marvel house on that.
Yeah, right on the cusp. And then he asked for Black Lives Matter to be incorporated, Black Lives Matter, excuse me, to be incorporated in text somehow, or maybe through imagery, and a single red tear if possible. And I worked out, if anybody saw my Instagram, I posted, I think, 2 or 3 sketches that led up to the final design. And right away, when I started doing it, for whatever reason, I really thought of the moment in the Olympics where the solidarity fist came up. And growing up, I've grown up primarily low income. I've been privy to all walks of life, thankfully. And I don't know, one of my mom's best friend in Seattle, she was Black, and her and her husband taught me how to speak jive as a kid. And I grew up with an appreciation of Black culture. I mean, I can't speak for anybody that's Black, and I have my own personal views about it, but that image always stuck out in my mind, and I wanted to incorporate the solidarity fist with the Punisher skull, and I thought that would be the way to go. And then I added the BLM just as shorthand, because we live in a society of acronyms, and everything is shorthand nowadays, and BLM is so recognizable that I thought it would be great as the knuckle. And then Gerry wanted to keep the skull white, because originally I was going to mess with the colors, But I thought, well, what better way to represent police brutality than to have BLM be the knuckles and be in red, so blood red.
And I think that's just a wonderful story to bring things in, and just let that you have been asked to be a part of it, and that you were selected amongst things. And of course, things are done for a charitable cause with your image. And last time I checked, the image had so far, via merchandising and distribution through shirts, stickers, and now face masks, I think it was something close to like $50,000 raised for charitable organizations.
Yeah, I think all the proceeds go to Black Lives Matter, the Los Angeles chapter, or at least that's how my campaign is designated. I believe Gerry Conway's campaign also designated for BLM LA, and my design on its own has done over 47,000. And then the campaign overall, featuring amazing artists of all different backgrounds, has done, I believe, over 77,000 for Black Lives Matter.
That's just wonderful to see that it's helped out there. And of course, we also asked you to be a part of our book, the one that's coming in for Creators Assemble. And so our book is going to be dropping next week at creatorsassemble.org, and so you can find us there. So the book is coming out, and you can also just join us for our San Diego Comic-Con panel next week at Comic-Con Live. So, and that's going to be coming up on Saturday. So, and it's nice to see such an eclectic bunch of people giving their stories, because for how this project came about is, for Creators Assemble, which is, a relatively new organization, we wanted to help that and give back. And so it's, come up of people who have, been writers, librarians, event organizers, and just thinking, what can we do to it? And I was absolutely shocked when you agreed to be a part of it, because here we are. It's like, we've been internet friends for the longest time. I've met you at conventions in passing, and now it's like you have this, one universal great symbol that has just come up and is just taking a life of its own on the internet, and now it's immortalized in our work. And so we can't thank you enough for that.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I just wanted to help out any way I can, and along with the actual organization, I felt like what you guys were doing, everything works in concert for Black Lives Matter. It's not just talking about lives, but it's talking about businesses, creativity, other professionals out there, and it's just a matter of acknowledging everything that the African American community has contributed to society in general. And I love the fact that you guys are pointing to that, and that one of the organizations you guys are doing it for is the African American Museum of Art down there in San Diego, which I think is incredible.
Oh yeah, and I was, it is important to contribute to the arts, because, like I said before, without creators, we have nothing of this. We just have complete, it's just a void of silence. It's a void of absence. We love creators who are writing and creating imagery and creating the stories that are going to inspire the next generation of people, and of course going to inspire the world. And here you are now inspiring the world and moving things forward. And so just about some of your other work, which I'm not really too familiar with, but now it's like you've jumped from the big leagues and you're collaborating with a comic legend like Gerry Conway, like the man who freaking killed Gwen Stacy. And of course, yeah, because I understand Jerry's concern for things, because as you can tell from the loads of toys and books on my shelf, I grew up as a lifelong Spider-Man fan. For me, Punisher was a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so his character has become, somewhat misguided throughout the way. And so I can understand Jerry's wanting to take the character from not being such a, role model for, bad influences and what the character stands for. Yeah. Of course, I've read my fair share of Punisher along the way. I'm not going to consider myself the world authority, but I've, read the classic stuff into the, stuff that Gerry Conway and Romita were doing back in the day, going through the 80s stuff and the, late 90s, early 2000s Garth Ennis stuff, which is just, the off the walls, violent type stuff. But it does create itself into, like you said, vigilante. And not exactly the best role model, because if you're just using violence to solve everything instead of, and in the case of, I'm not even certain why police like to use the Punisher. He acted because the police were not doing anything to act out about his slaughtered family. And
Yeah.
so you do see there's a missed message there, and it's not just something to use violence on things. So as for me, I grew up as a Spider-Man fan. He always found a way to solve things, and if avoiding violence, especially on the animated series where Spider-Man only used his fist once, and it was for a joke to hit that the character the Spot through an interdimensional portal, and just to say, well, that hit the Spot. Literally for a pun, because Spider-Man was a trash talker, and he always found a way to solve things. And so I wish that if like going through what we see now through nonviolent means, through standing up to oppression and standing up to police brutality, because heroes, if they could avoid it, they don't use violence.
Yeah.
And so now that you're working with Gerry, like, how has that changed things for you? How has that changed perspective? And now that you have become a cultural icon unto itself.
I wouldn't say I'm a cultural icon. I think part of being an artist, unless you hit that upper echelon, like a Jim Lee, or like any of the top tier guys, like even my friend Dustin Nguyen, he's like, those guys are.
Oh yeah, Dustin's awesome.
Yeah, Dustin's fantastic, or like an Olivier Coipel, like Darwin Cook, any of those big names. I'm definitely not there yet. I think. For me, I'm just happy to have helped with Gerry's campaign, and I think people recognize the image more than they'll ever notice who I am. So part of this interview is really anybody watching, you now get to put a face to the design. But other than that, I mean, I'm just one of those guys who's just still, I feel like, trying to break into the industry. And a lot of people will come with crowbars, and I'm just that guy who kind of snuck in through the back door. And I'm still working my way through it. And I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy that everybody I met, even my heroes, people always say don't meet your heroes, but I've met a lot of mine, and they've all been fantastic and helpful. And if I can pay it forward in any way, that's all I can really try to do, is try to do the right thing. And to me, this campaign was a part of that. And I hope my work and what I do and how I treat people continues to reflect that. And that's all I can really hope to do. And I've really just kind of been honored to have done things like I have my comic Pablo the Gorilla. It was funded on Kickstarter. Dustin Nguyen did the variant cover for that. How that happened is beyond me. So like I said, a lot of things happen. I don't ever have explanations for it, but I'm just trying to do my best and hopefully help somebody else out there along the way that like me, I've been helped. So I think that's all we can do, is just try to be good to each other.
And as the I know they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but it's like I've even noticed that you're upon the symbol taking on a life of its own. It's even had a couple bootleggers about last week or something, right?
Oh, no, people just stole the design outright, unfortunately, during Gerry's campaign. So my issue is, I don't know, I feel like we are in a society where people will just steal your ideas, and I kind of get that. Thankfully, I have a lawyer to advise me, but the part that's the worst is it's for a fundraiser, people. So what's worse than stealing from a fundraiser, aside from, I guess, stealing from babies or people with health issues?
Stealing from a baby health fundraiser.
Yeah. So, so thankfully, I was able to go after those people and had the takedowns, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA takedown requests. There were 5, and I did all 5 and got all 5 taken down. So I was lucky in that regard, especially with such a high profile image. Because I know many other creators out there that are even more high profile than I am, like top tier people, have had huge issues with that. So yeah, I guess I just maybe lucked out a little bit that it was sort of in the moment. But yeah, so there are people out there that didn't want to get the shirt and wanted to show some support, and they reached out to me personally to ask if maybe they can just do an image based on that. So I had a couple cosplayers ask, and sure, as long as they're not profiting off of it, I'm fine with that. And somebody made a patch of the logo, which was amazing. And then stickers have opened up because there's round 2 of the fundraiser is going on right now. And he actually came back and purchased a sticker. I don't know if it's going to get made though, because I think we're 114 stickers to go in order for it to print. But we'll see how the campaign goes. There's 2 more weeks left.
And it's just really nice to see things on both ends, and of course that it's being helped out for different charitable organizations for Black Lives Matter, and of course the ones that we do for Creators Assemble, and just because for this project, none of us were in it for the money. We were just in it to help, and that we were just using artwork and stories and experiences that so many people have come through. And so in total, now that we've got the book completely finished, it's actually stretched out to about 50 pages of complete
Wow.
content that with dozens of creators
Yeah.
contributing their works. And so just like everyone, so you can all find it at creatorsassemble.org, and it will be listed soon. We're just putting the final finishing touches on it and just getting things squared away so we can make the proper charitable contributions to the organizations that we listed. And it's just been a wonderful experience, and I'm just happy that you've been along for it, and that Moni Barrett, our president, she had the idea for this, and it's just come together just so beautifully. And I mean, I know you probably have not seen the other pieces because we're waiting till everyone is done, and I know that's one of the big problems that creators have. It's like all I've seen out of it is my thing.
I've actually she sent a preview, and I haven't had time to sit down with the entire thing, but I flipped through it and it's incredible. So the book, for those who haven't or don't know that much about it, it's an assemblage of, it's not just imagery, but it's also poetry. I think there's short stories, there's comics in there.
Oh yeah, there's comics, there's poetry, cartoons, just
Yeah,
single, written stories. So we have a great diversity of creators from all across the board. And so I'm just thinking about like, who do I want being involved with this? So like they've, some people on our team have recruited artists from Italy. I've even recruited some of the teenagers that I worked with at Little Fish Comic Book Studio that have become budding young artists. And so they can put their contributions into the work. And I think it's just something that's absolutely wonderful for everyone to come together, because it's not just comics, it's not just writing, it's poetry, it's a little bit of everything. There's something for everyone to enjoy in here.
there's a lot of bang for your buck if you are picking up the book. Now, is it only ebook, or will you guys be doing a print version of it as well?
Right now it's just in the ebook form, but we may adjust things with a printed version later on as things go by. It's just like, in the world of COVID and social distancing, it's just like we're trying to do what we can for the time being without having to like overextend ourselves right now as a new organization. We want to do something, but we do want to bring together and do our part to help local organizations.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's been a wonderful labor of love, just editing every line, making sure everyone's names are right, everyone's social media thing, everyone's there. It's like, it's a little, and it's just nice to be able to, comic book stuff again. Well, we're all cooped up inside. We all feel the pressure of the world and things. And sometimes we want to snap. Sometimes it's like, did I just really just, spend an entire day just going through and just like, reading comics again. But it's nice to just create the things. And, we do have some publishers interested in coming in and checking out our work. We can't say anything
Nice.
yet. It's a little bit on the hush side, but I'm just trying to be weary of what I can say on live TV. So, stay tuned for that.
Will do. And I've been saying this a lot recently for any interviews I've done through Zoom or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. A lot of you guys out there, thank you so much for sharing, participating, and supporting local creators or creators just in general. It's been amazing with this whole pandemic situation. As you know, having helped with San Diego Comic Fest, all the cons are down more or less. I have one con left slated on my schedule. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen, which is Baltimore Comic Con.
Yeah, I kind of thought Comic Fest like right in there before things happen. It's like,
yeah, and San Diego Comic Con, which was supposed to happen next week, right, is done. And amazingly, people are still buying comics, asking for commissions. I see a lot of my friends out there still getting support. So thank you, everybody out there, for doing your part, doing what you can. If you can't pledge or donate or support in a way, please just think about sharing. It's it's free.
And speaking of Comic-Con Online, I heard you do have an online artist alley table.
Yes, I do. This was supposed to be my first year at Comic-Con's Artist Alley, and I do have a table. Originally, I was supposed to be at Artist Alley HH03 next to the wonderful Carl Alstetter, and down from the incredible David Mack, who's our was our shining star at the corner end of the row. But unfortunately, pandemic happened. But thankfully, they're doing an option, so it'll be nice. I listed the second round of the Black Lives Matter logo fundraiser as one of my items. So please stop by my virtual booth, check it out, and support if you can.
Yeah, so check him out at San Diego Comic-Con online for his online booth, and be sure to check out Creators Assemble for our panel at Comic-Con online next Saturday. And you can also check out one of mine. I believe it's Thursday, 10 a.m. for during the Holocaust, where I'll talk about a little bit of World War II history and some of the artwork, and maybe a little bit about this guy and the folks who created him. So on top of that, you are a self-published writer-creator. Can you tell us a little about Pablo?
Yes, Pablo is my labor of love. It's been in development for many years. It's about a cyborg gorilla that delivers pizza, an albino cyborg gorilla, and all he wants to do is just live life. However, the government that created him wants their property back. And he's also being hunted by something a little more sinister. I think it's great for fans of Ninja Turtles or indie comics like Tank Girl. I took a lot of inspiration from those properties, like Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo, The Crow, Hellboy. So there's that in there, and then you can see some of my more mainstream influences too, I feel like. So you might catch a little Spider-Man, a little Clayface from Batman in there. We'll see. Just throwing out some ideas that bubbled into the comic. And then, yeah, just, that fully funded on Kickstarter. It's been amazing. And then a lot of people might also somehow know me from Inktober. In 2017, writer Andy Nordval and I did, I think it was Inktober's first book that takes all 31 of Jake Parker's prompts and goes beginning to end as a cohesive story. And it was a Kindle #1 on Amazon and top 100 in print.
Oh, nice. That's
yeah.
Pretty impressive. That's a pretty impressive feat for a relatively unknown author.
Yeah.
Like, to have the peaking thing on there. It's just like, that's just wonderful to see. Let me adjust my lighting a little bit while I'm talking more. So anyway, that's added quite a shine on me. But as those transition, it's like, I know it's a little too early to say, but do you have any future plans for your BLM logo and any future collaborations with Gerry that you want to talk about?
Unfortunately, I do not. I think the only thing that Gerry will be doing, if you supported the campaign and you don't know about it, he sent out an email. So Gerry will be signing all the designs. So you can bring any of the shirts from any of the artists, artist Ari. I'm trying to remember some of the other artists. There's one, I think his handle is @Mofxan, MOFXAN. And there's a bunch of other artists that were involved. DeMonte Price is another artist. So any of my design or any of the other designs, Gerry's going to be signing them if you supported the campaign. So that's a huge thank you. But there were no other plans. The only thing we did is I collaborated with 3 fellow writers, and we did a quick 2-page fanfic to introduce a character called Rook into the Punisher lore, just to show what the logo was about and some of our thoughts behind it. And you can find that on Twitter. I think I posted it, or on my Instagram @winningit.
That's wonderful to hear. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I really do, just think it's just a mind-blowing experience. And now it's just like, I'm so pleased now that everything is done, that the headache is done, that I can stop pulling out my beautiful, luxurious hair on this Creators Assemble project. It's like, we've got our first work under the way. And I know you said you only flipped through mildly throughout the story, but you want to tell our fans out there watching today, did you have any fan favorite stuff and you can't say yourself?
So I just briefly skimmed through it because I'm actually in the middle. I just finished a Pablo 2-pager for an anthology. But yeah, right off the bat, I'm just going to talk about the quality of it. I flipped through it and it looks fantastic. The first comic I saw, so you're going to be getting a great product for your support out there for anybody who's watching. I really think you're going to enjoy it. There's a little bit of something for everybody. So you're going to get both prose and art. And in some cases, a combination of both.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful finished project, and I'm so happy to have you as part of it. And so
Thank you so much.
now that we're, coming to our closing time because I think we've been talking for about a half hour now. It's like,
Wow.
can you believe that we are such windbags?
I can believe for myself, yes. If you ever come to my table, I will talk your ear off.
Okay, yeah. So, Don, just for other things, what are your future plans as a creator?
I'm actually in the middle of a bunch of projects right now. My very first one of the year was with Russell Nolte, Wannabe Press. My friend Mike Corpy and I, we did a story for his Cthulhu's Hard to Spell, The Terrible Twos, which is now out in print. And you can pick it up from his web store. So just look up Wannabe Press. You can get it there. I'm with the Sketchy Bugs group based out of the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach. We're working on an anthology. My piece is finished. We're just assembling the book right now. Like I said, I just did a Pablo two-pager for an anthology, which you'll probably be seeing soon. And then I'm on a few other anthologies, working on Pablo #2. And there was a short film that came out last year that I was on. It was sort of a motion comic, and it was part of the Dances with Films Festival out here in Los Angeles. And that is another comic that I'm working on, and we're looking forward to getting that out. And Reno Wilson, who is an actor on, was an actor on Mike and Molly, and he is now on Good Girls. I believe season 3 is what they're on. Check it out because he's part of the project as well. And right now they're cutting sort of a little short for that. So it should be pretty incredible.
Okay, awesome. Also, for the fans out there, where can they find you?
Super easy to find. My last name, Nguyen, Nguyen, add an INGIT, at Winning It, on almost every social media platform. You can find me on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. I'm pretty ubiquitous, I think, at this point. I just started doing the video stuff, so I'm not like on TikTok or anything like that, or
Okay.
Snapchat.
Well, okay. I think you could be great for TikTok.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so thank you all for tuning in with us today. It's if you want to find out more about the project, it'll be debuting very soon. So make sure that you join us at creatorsassemble.org. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Creators Assemble, at Creators Assemble on Instagram, Creators Assemble on Twitter, and pretty much all across the board. So look for that hot pink and sky blue, Creators Assemble CA. And Don, we cannot thank you enough for being part of the project, and thank you so much for joining us here on our live chat today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been an honor, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the product coming out, or the project coming out, excuse me, and spending time with it finished. Finally, want to get a moment from doing commissions and book work.
Oh yeah, sure. It's like take a breather. You've been working a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Don.
Have a good night.